In South Florida this weekend, reaction to the Supreme Court ruling is as passionate as that larger debate over abortion rights.
Local 10 News reporter Parker Bratton is live with us this morning with a sampling of South Florida opinion on the abortion rights ruling. Parker, good morning. What's up?
Michael, good morning. I can tell you we are seeing it across South Florida, hundreds gathering, protesting this historic decision. But we're also hearing from some that say that this is a big win.
We will not go back.
From Broward to Dade, crowds of passionate pro-choice supporters gathering across South Florida after hearing Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, ending 50 years of women's constitutional rights to an abortion.
This decision rolls back the freedom that we fought so hard for.
Protesters carrying signs that read, "My body, my choice. We will not go back and keep abortion safe and legal."
You've got a Republican-appointed majority Supreme Court that tore women's rights away, and it's only the beginning.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz addressing one crowd with Senator Lauren Book.
That they can still get legal and safe abortions in the state of Florida today, tomorrow, and starting July 1st up until 15 weeks.
On the opposite political side,
we're very excited in Florida.
Republicans like the Florida Lieutenant Governor calling the historic ruling nothing short of miraculous.
The importance of that is going back to the states. We've never believed that an issue of that magnitude should be legislated by the bench.
Governor Ron DeSantis has already hinted at more abortion restrictions, even though his office would not confirm if he would call for a special legislative session. Back in April, the governor signing legislation into law that bans abortions in Florida after 15 weeks of pregnancy.
He's clearly scared to talk about this subject because he knows that popular opinion, especially in Florida, is oppositional to him.
And while you see some are celebrating, others say they want change to happen now. And the Democrats that we have spoken with say the best way to make that change happen is to get out and vote and put the right people in office. Glenna, Michael.
Parker, thanks so much. And barring any last-minute court order, Florida's new abortion restrictions are scheduled to start this week, Friday, July 1st. So with fresh attention now in the wake of that Supreme Court ruling.
The High Court ruling and the new Florida law certainly have women's health providers trying to figure out their best course of action. Mayte Canino is one of those leaders. She is the Deputy Organizing Director of Planned Parenthood for Southeast and North Florida. Mayte, happy to have you with us. How are you?
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Mayte, I know it's been a very busy weekend for you and your colleagues. What advice do you have now for women in Florida, knowing that Florida is potentially one of those states that might see women from other states come to seek a legal abortion? But what's your best advice this morning?
So it's been a busy week, a busy year for us here in Florida. We already are receiving women from other states that have been coming to us to access abortion. We are one of the only few states in the South that have access to abortion as of up to over 15 weeks. As of July 1st, it will be only until 15 weeks that you could access abortion in the state of Florida. We at Planned Parenthood will always do everything possible to make sure that women have access to the care that they need. We will help them figure out their plan of how to access abortion if that's something that they feel that they need to do. And my advice to women and to everyone in Florida is now the Supreme Court that has made the decision, it's coming back to the states to say what will happen and what would abortion access look in Florida. Now more than ever, it's so important that people pay attention to people they're voting into office and having abortion as one of the issues that they're looking at. It's not always the first issue people are looking at, but more clearly than ever, it shows us that we need to look at who are we voting for? What is their stance on abortion? Because most Americans, most Floridians believe this is a very private decision that should not be legislated by politicians.
So let me bring you back to the day at hand, the practical matter at hand. In Florida, 96% of women who have had abortions till now is before the 15-week mark that will now be in place. as of Friday. It affects a very small, the new regulations affect a very small percentage. By the numbers, of course, huge if a woman is one of those 4%. But I want to, in this week, really zero in on, you may have clients, no privacy breaching here, but you may have clients who are around the 15-week mark. And what are you telling them?
Yeah. Well, the people that we see that come to us during the 15-week mark after 15 weeks are usually people that have problems in the pregnancy with fetal anomalies, with heart conditions of the babies that is not being seen, the fetus that's not being seen until later on in the pregnancy. Those are the people that we see after 15 weeks that have issues with the pregnancy. When women are coming to us now to schedule their appointment, we are making sure that we get them in as soon as possible and we see the gestational age and provide them the care that they need.
Yeah. Mayte, tell us about what is going on in your facilities in South Florida and across the state. I mean, we know that Planned Parenthood provides an array of health services. It is just not an abortion provider, but we see at an abortion clinic in Hialeah a huge rush of women coming there trying to get an abortion, before this law goes into effect. What's happening at your clinics?
What's happening in our clinic is what's happening in our health centers every single day. We're providing healthcare to the women and the people that need the healthcare. We are bringing them in. We are seeing as many patients as possible to access abortion and the care that they need, because abortion is part of the healthcare that they need.
Yeah, if I can, follow up very briefly. We know that an abortion through medication is widely practiced now. I believe something like 49% of abortions in the country are through medication. What are you advising your patients, your clients, through your clinics? What about the availability of medication to cause an abortion? Because the Florida law says that a doctor may not prescribe those pills either on the phone or online.
So at Planned Parenthood, we follow all the laws, even though we don't agree with all of them that are being given, because they're not medically accurate laws. Most of the time that we have, our doctors are following most of the law. It is a conversation that our doctors are having with our patients as they come in and making sure that they're receiving the care they need with still adhering with the laws that are the law of Florida.
So Planned Parenthood, we have a very short time left, but Planned Parenthood has a lawsuit against this new law. I believe there's a court hearing about it tomorrow. And it's based on the argument that Florida's new restrictions might violate the state constitutional right to privacy. How does that play, practically speaking? Isn't everything you do a private matter? How would government even know?
It does. This law, and even the people that propose this law know that this is against a person's privacy. This is an unconstitutional law, as many unconstitutional laws that the legislature has passed. In Florida, our privacy rights are even stricter than our federal privacy rights. It protects us as people, not only our information. By going into someone's medical decision and trying to say what a person should do with their body and medically is against the privacy that the Constitution gives us in Florida. So it goes against the Constitution. Now we will see how the courts interpret it, as we saw in the Supreme Court.
There will be a lot going on this week, no doubt. Mayte Canino with Planned Parenthood. We appreciate your time today, and we invite you to keep in touch and let us know how this all goes down.
Mayte, thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for having me today.
Of course.